All right, everyone, before I start making my almond and coconut flour Danish, I just want to tell you all right now that I'm obviously not any kind of a diet expert. This is a little recipe that I came up on my own, and I did use some other ones as a base to follow. And then I just changed some things up and made this work for me because this is an idea that I had in my head. I wanted something sweet, and this works for me. So if you want to try it, I welcome you to try it. Okay, so our ingredients are right here. I've got a bowl here with 1 tablespoon of coconut flour, 1 tablespoon of almond flour. I've got a dash of salt, which is about 1/8 of a teaspoon. I've got 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and I've got 2 teaspoons of swerve granulated. Okay, you can use whatever sweetener you rather use. Here I have 3 tablespoons of this is shredded mozzarella cheese. I've got a tablespoon of melted butter, which I've let cool off. And then I've got here 1 egg that I am going to beat. I've also got some raspberries here, some blueberries, some almonds, and I do have some cream cheese over here. So we'll get to that point in just a minute. But let's start making our dough. So first we're gonna mix around these 3 or actually 5 dry ingredients. Just mix them up really well. Make sure that baking powder gets everywhere. Okay, so now we're going to pour our melted butter. And our egg. Okay, I'm going to mix this up, but in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and put my mozzarella in the microwave because I want to melt it down. So I'm just going to put it like in a little clump like that. And I'm going to put it in there for about a minute. I have a 700 watt microwave. It's a little microwave, so 1 minute was enough. So just adjust it to the wattage that you have on your microwave. Okay, so here I've got my melted cheese. It's pretty hot, so I'm going to get it into my dough and try to mix it up as best as I can and do it as quick as I can as well. Now it might not blend in very well in there, so just try to like break it up if you have to with your hands like that, which is what I did the first time. And it didn't blend all that well because this cheese starts to harden up pretty quickly. Okay, so now I'm going to take this onto a sheet of parchment paper like that. Sorry. There we go. Okay, once we have it in the parchment paper, all I'm going to do is just take the paper and use that to knead it. We want to get as much as we can blend it up. That cheese is going to be a little hard to blend in there. So we're going to go for it. Now you could try this without melting the cheese and just sprinkling it in here because we are going to bake it. So we are going to get our oven preheated at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, once you've kneaded this and you're satisfied with it, just make a little ball here. There we go. And I'm just going to put it on half of the paper, cover it again, and smush it down a little bit. All right, so here I have just a cookie sheet with some more parchment paper, and I've got some coconut oil spray that I'm going to spray on it. You can use avocado spray, whatever you have. Okay, and then I'm going to use a little rolling pin, or if you have a big rolling pin, that's fine. And we're just going to roll this out, and just roll it out to whatever shape you want. I'm going to try and do like a little bit of an oval, and I want this to be like maybe 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch, or 3/4 inch, I would say. Not 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch would be too thick. But if you want to get it to a 3/4 inch, that's fine. But I kind of like a 1/4 inch. That works fine. So that's kind of the thickness, if you can see that. Okay, so now that we have it like this, we're going to transfer it to our sheet. Okay, so I'm actually going to make another one and put it on my sheet, and then we're going to get over to the filling that we're going to put in it. And once you have it in here, you could actually shape it up a little bit more. Put the sheet over it. And there we go. And I'm actually going to use the same sheet for my next one. All right, so in here I've got about 2.5 ounces of cream cheese. That all depends on how much you want to put on top of your little pastry here. I've also got 2 teaspoons of the Swerve granular. This is what the bag looks like, in case you're wondering. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the microwave for about 30 seconds. I want to soften up the cream cheese. Now, it's been sitting out here, so it's kind of soft, but I want it to get a little bit more creamy, kind of a little bit runny, if you will. So just put it in there for 30 seconds, and if you have to do another 10 seconds and so on to get it to a nice consistency, then that'll be perfect. And I'll be back with that. Okay, so I've already taken this out of the microwave, and I've given this up a little stir here. Make sure everything is well incorporated. And it is pretty, runny. So that's pretty good. And that took me about 40 seconds. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put this inside of my little pastries here. Okay, how much you put on here is going to be up to you. I'm just going to spread it, but I don't want to spread it all the way to the edges. Now this was enough to do 2, maybe 3 or 4 danishes, this amount that I've melted. The amounts that I gave you for the pastry, of course, will make 1. So I went ahead and I repeated the amounts that I did to make the second one. The second one actually looks like the very first one that I made. Okay, so just put as much as you want on here. Okay, so there we go. That's how much I have left over. So maybe you want to do a little bit less. All right, so here I've also got some walnuts, and I'm actually going to break these up a little bit. I've also melted half a tablespoon of butter, and this is optional, but I'm going to go ahead and put some on the outside here, on the outside edge of my Danish. Okay, so there we go. Clean that up, make it look pretty. Okay, so now we can put some blueberries. Now, you could put your blueberries in a little pot, heat them up and let them pop open if that's what you prefer. I'm just gonna put them like that, whole, and I'm gonna do like half and half. And then I'm gonna put the raspberries on the other half. And you could just do 1 berry, you don't have to do 2, or mix them up. Actually, that might even be better, but I wanted to try them with just 1 flavor and then the other. So let me spread these out a little bit more. Okay, and then of course I'm gonna top it off with walnuts, and this is completely optional. You don't have to put any walnuts on there. If you prefer to use some almonds, then use that, or maybe some cashews. But I love the way I like the way walnut tastes with berries. Okay, that's enough. We're going to now put this in our oven, and I said it was 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to put them in there for about 5 or 7 minutes. We're going to keep an eye on it. We're going to see that the sides will probably puff up a little bit. Now, without any of this, any of the toppings, if you just make the little pastry part, it'll puff up a little bit on you, look really pretty. And then you could eat it like a little bit of a sweet bread. It has some sweetness in there. But like I said, you can adjust the sugar and add a little bit extra. As a matter of fact, I was going to add a little bit of extra sugar sprinkled on top. So let's just do that, because we want to get that on those little berries, even though they're already sweet. But I think that just looks really pretty. Okay, so like I said, you could leave all that off and just bake them and make just the pastry by itself. All right, everyone, so here are my cheese danishes out of the oven. They look really pretty. I think I said 5 to 7 minutes, and that was incorrect. I was using the timing from another recipe that I made some like a tortilla, like a cheese tortilla, but it doesn't have any egg in it. But since this has egg in it, we want to aim for more like 15 minutes. Now, when I first made it, this particular recipe, I didn't put this cream cheese and the berries on top, like I said, and I had baked it for about 12 minutes, so anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes. So if you do put the topping, just let it go for about 15 minutes. Keep an eye on it. Look how beautiful they look, all nice and golden on the edges. And you can tell that they did puff up a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and let these rest a moment, and then we'll be back so we can go ahead and give them a taste. All right, everyone, so the cheese danishes have already rested, so take a look at them. These are my almond and coconut flour cheese danishes. They smell so good, and I can't wait to take a bite, and I can't wait for my husband to try these. So let's taste. All right, so let's take a little bite out of one of these. Let me just cut this up so that you can see what it looks like inside the bread. That is what it looks like. As you can see, it's a little bit thick. It's almost like a pancake, but it's quite bready. I like that. So let's give it a taste. You guys, I'm gonna give it a big old thumbs up, and I hope that you too will give this a big old thumbs up. I hope that you enjoyed my recipe for this almond coconut flour cheese danish that I have created, and I hope that it's making you nice and hungry and you're craving for something sweet just like this. All right, everyone, I want to thank everyone for having subscribed to my channel, and if you haven't done so, please hit that red subscription button and subscribe, and then hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified of when I put up my videos. As always, share on your social medias and enjoy.